What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I just wanted to get another Subaru WRX STI video up before the weather turns. It's supposed to turn cold here tomorrow. We're supposed to get some snow and get colder, so this is probably the last time you will see an STI WRX video. And in this video, I'm going to go over the top reasons why you may want to get a regular WRX versus an STI. So I already went over why I think the STI is a little bit better value and a little bit better purchase decision. Again, it's based on your needs, so take that into account, test drive both. But I'm going to go over why I think the WRX is a better value. I've owned both for short periods of time. This one I plan on keeping. I won't go into the WRX story, but you can check that video out, and it's been 5 or 6 months ago where I did that. But the first reason why I think the WRX is a better value than the STI is mainly if you drive long distances, especially on the highway. So if you're driving 30 miles, 20 miles one way to work, I think the WRX is probably a little bit better value because it's softer suspension and you're going to get much better fuel mileage, which you may not think is a big deal, but this does take premium fuel, which is about 50-60 cents more a gallon than your regular fuel. The WRX does also, but what I found is that the WRX can get 5 to 10 better miles per gallon depending on how you drive it. Obviously, it depends on the climate also. I'm getting around 19 to 20 in this currently, and I was getting between 24 and 25 in my WRX, and I almost never took it on the highway. That's one reason why I went with the STI. This is my daily driver vehicle, but we also have an Ascent, so I do not need this for long trips, highways, hauling family around. Obviously around town we use it from time to time, but if you drive a lot and you're strapped for cash, I would look into possibly getting the regular WRX, or at least take that into account when you're looking at the finances there. The second reason is going to again come down to money, and that the regular WRX is a much cheaper car. It's $4,000 to $8,000 cheaper than a base STI, depending on what model trim you get. So that's something to look into and take into account when you're looking at that. Obviously, if you can't afford an STI or even a WRX, don't get either one of them. But if that $4,000 to $8,000 isn't worth it for you after you test drive them, that's something to look at. The other third reason is going to again be money oriented, in that WRX is a little bit cheaper to maintain. So this is an older motor in the STI, the 2.5 liter. The regular WRX has the newer 2.0 twin scroll turbo, and it requires a little less maintenance, probably because it's not as, I don't want to say this one's fragile, but I think the maintenance intervals, most people I've talked to recommend changing the oil at 3,000 miles, where probably in the WRX you could probably go 6 in it because it's a newer design motor, so you don't have to worry about all the issues with that. And then you got the transmission, which is a little bit bigger, going to cost more. The brakes are bigger. Insurance is more. Insurance is about $15 more a month, maybe more for other people, but I'm older. I'm in my mid-30s, so insurance is pretty cheap for me, but it's about $15 more a month on this, and it gets worse fuel mileage, so you're overall going to pay more for this in the long run. The fourth reason why I think the WRX is a little bit better value is that I think it's just as fast as this. I've had both. Again, if you're just driving it around town, driving it on back roads, it feels just as fast, and it feels like you don't have to beat it to death to get that extra horsepower out of it. So it's got a twin scroll turbo, so between 2,000 and 4,500 RPM, the boost really kicks in, and that turbo really accelerates the car. While the STI, you have to wait until it gets to usually like the 3,000 to 6,000 range, so you have to rev the engine out a little bit more to really feel it. This one is a more linear feel, as in the WRX really accelerates and then it just falls off a cliff once you get to that 4,500 RPM. So if you're just putting around town, it could be a better value or an overall better car than the STI. Again, test drive both, see which one works better for you, but I found that it felt just as fast as this. It didn't handle quite as well. Maybe suspension, tires. This one has a little bit, but one more differential in it, and that electronic center one. But that's something that I would, take into account. If you're not, these cars are not fast when it comes to a straight line. They are more, they're rally inspired cars, so they're not a straight line car. If you want a fast straight line car, get a Cobra, get a Dodge Challenger, get something that has a massive V8 in it that's going to do good straight line, but not so much when you take it on a back road. The last reason why I think that the WRX is a little bit better value is that there's tons of different varieties. So you can get almost everything in an STI in 2020. So you can get the performance model, which actually has the Brembo 4-piston brakes that were on the, I think it was 2015, 16, and 17 STI, which is plenty enough brakes. So you can get that where you get the bigger brakes, the Recaro seats. So you can get most of the features and comforts you can get in the STI. So that's it, guys. Again, test drive both. Obviously, I've said this previously, if you can't afford it, don't get either of them. Get something that's financially going to work for you. But I've already noticed that this is going to be a little bit more expensive, the STI is than the WRX. For insurance, gas, I've already changed the oil once in it at 1,200 miles because I'm probably going to change it every 3,000 miles just to be safe. Whereas in the WRX, I'd probably go to every 4,500, which isn't a big chunk of change, but it adds up over 5, 6, 7 years of ownership. So that's it, guys. If you have any questions, comments, leave them below. I'm not a car expert. This is just my opinion. I wanted to get out and get some sunshine while we have it. Have a good rest of the day. Be safe out there, and I'll see you guys next time.